Okay, just 6 words. When one, because of one, floods everything, you're probably thinking, what on earth does that even mean? At first, it sounds like a riddle, maybe even a mistake. But what if I told you this simple German sentence is actually a perfectly engineered machine for creating stories? Well, today we're going to fire it up and see what it can do. I mean, really, think about it. How is it possible for just 6 little words to hold so much potential? How can they possibly describe a huge catastrophe, a passionate love affair, and a world-changing breakthrough, all at the same time? Let's take a closer look and unlock the secrets this sentence is holding. All right, so to really understand the power of the whole, we first have to look at its parts. We're going to break this sentence down to its core components and see exactly what makes it tick. The first clue to this whole mystery is the word einer. You'll notice it shows up twice, but, and this is the key, it's playing 2 completely different roles. And this, right here, is the source of all that wonderful ambiguity. So here we can see the 2 jobs of einer laid out. On the left, you've got the actor. That's the someone who's performing the action. And on the right, it's the cause, the one thing that gives the reason for that action. So what we really have is a character and a motivation. And the engine connecting these 2 parts, that's the word wegen. It just means because of. You can think of it as the grammatical glue that forces us to link the actor with the cause, basically insisting that one thing directly leads to the other. Okay, so we've got our who and our why, but what about the what? Let's dive into the action at the very heart of the sentence, the flood. The verb here is just so absolute. Alles überflutet. It floods everything. It's not talking about a small part or just a little bit. This implies a total world-altering transformation. There's a clear before and a completely different after.
But what kind of transformation are we really talking about? A flood can absolutely be destructive, chaotic, and ruinous, of course. But it can also be a force of creation. Think of the Nile flooding its banks, bringing all that fertile soil and new life. So is this flood a disaster, or is it a new beginning? The sentence doesn't tell us. We actually have to decide for ourselves.
Okay, so now we have our building blocks. We've got an actor, a cause, and this huge transformative action. So now let's see what happens when we start putting them together and constructing some of the possible stories hidden inside. Let's start with a pretty classic narrative, a story of human error, of a single failure with catastrophic consequences. Imagine this, when one, let's say an engineer, because of one, a single miscalculation, a faulty valve, floods everything. Here, the flood is literal and totally disastrous. A dam breaks, a city is lost, a career is ruined. That's a powerful, tragic story told in just 6 words. But now, let's completely change the context. What if the flood isn't water at all? What if it's pure emotion? Let's build a story about love. When one person, because of one other person, floods everything with feeling, with love, with passion, all of a sudden the sentence becomes deeply romantic. The world is transformed not by some disaster, but by an overwhelming emotional connection that changes your entire perception of reality. Okay, let's try one more. This time, we're going to move from the deeply personal to the world of big ideas and innovation. How about this? When one, maybe a scientist, an artist, an inventor, because of one, a single idea, a discovery, a brand new perspective, floods everything with change. This is the story of those huge paradigm shifts. Think about Einstein's theory of relativity or the invention of the internet. It's about one idea that changes everything. So we just came up with 3 completely different stories: disaster, romance, innovation. And they were all generated from the exact same 6 words. So what does this tell us? What's the common thread here? The crucial point is this: the sentence isn't really about any one of those stories. It's a blueprint. It's a formula that demonstrates the immense, world-changing power of a single thing. It's all about the power of one. Everything hinges on this concept, the number 1. 1 is the catalyst. It's the starting point for a total transformation. Whether it's for good or for ill, it really is the smallest possible cause that can create the largest possible effect. And this power can take so many forms, right? It could be one person who inspires you, one decision that defines your entire future, one mistake that costs everything, one idea that reshapes society. Or, it could just be one single moment where everything changes forever. And that brings the power of this sentence right back to us, to our own lives. It forces us to ask,
What is the one thing for us? What is the single person or idea or choice that holds the power to flood our world? Which single decision of yours could change everything?